Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and this video may very well get me canceled. But I'm not one to shy away from controversial topics, so here we go. I've been seeing a lot of these. I don't mean to pick on Luis here, but I've been seeing a lot of these, and this one kind of struck my, I don't know, I noticed it more than maybe some of the other ones that I've seen. This seems to be going around the MVP community. Basically, MVP people, they're boycotting the MVP summit. They're not going to travel to the US for a litany of reasons that we'll go into. And I'm going to try to cover this as apolitically as I can, right? Because I don't care about all the politics and stuff like that. But I did. I found this one, as you can see here, I found that my comment was fascinating. And let's go into kind of why I find this fascinating. Number one, I think what I find fascinating about this, and I have a long running conversation thread through email with a Canadian individual that I correspond with, which in terms of he is also telling me how evil and corrupt and terrible the United States is, and how everyone in the United States is evil because blah 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 and Trump and everything like that. And the U.S. is terrible, terrible place to live and terrible country, right? And you can debate all of that stuff. I mean, we obviously the United States has done terrible things in the past and present in the future and will in the future, along with every other country on the planet. But sure. Anyway, but and so Luis is from Germany, a Canadian, and I just love it when like people from foreign countries like tell me what it's like to live in the country that I live in. Like I would never be so arrogant, I guess you could say, arrogant to do that to anyone in another country, right? I would never tell somebody in Russia what it's like to live in Russia, or Germany what it's like to live in Germany, or Canada what it's like to live in Canada, right? Because I don't live there, so I don't really know. All I get is just snippets of what's on the news. So, and they're obviously, and the news is obviously going to cover just the most sensational shit, right? They're not going to cover like the everyday humdrum. This is how it works, right? But they're going to cover controversial stuff, and then everybody's going to make judgments and stuff like that. So like something happens in Germany, I'm like, oh, Germany's the worst place ever because blah blah blah. Like I would never do that because I'm not an arrogant prick. Okay, that's just not who I am. But other people like to be arrogant pricks, I guess. I don't know. They like to tell people in other countries how they should live their lives. Um, Whatever. Luis seems to be among those kind of people that wants to tell everyone in the U.S. how the U.S. should work and how it should, how you should live your life in the U.S. and all of that. So whatever. Um, but let's unwind some of this stuff. So this isn't about the inconvenience of border control surprises or unpredictable immigration checks. It's also about ICE, about a system where state power over bodies is normalized, expanded, and defended, often with devastating consequences, da da da, luxury, blah blah. Okay, so if you don't know, ICE is it's the deportation arm of the law enforcement arm that here in the U.S. Okay, there's border security, and then there's ICE. ICE takes care of tracking down people that are here legally and deporting them. That is ICE's function, right? And the US is not the only country that deports people. Okay. So this is where ChatGPT comes in really, really handy. And I've verified and spot checked a lot of these numbers. How many people have been deported from major countries in 2024? Right. US in 2024 was about 678,000. Now, that's formal removals and returns. They all get mixed together. So that's not like people that were that's not all forced removals, right? There's also people that voluntarily returned, et cetera, et cetera. The numbers get all jumbled up. In United Kingdom, 60,000. European Union, 120,000, right? Canada, of all three people that visited Canada, 7,300 people were deported. I'm joking. There about 19 million people visit Canada every year. Australia actually has a really low number, like a few hundred per year. They're really low deportation counts, right? And then the numbers are similar for 2025. United States, 605,000 in 2025. European Union, there's 34,000 returns in Q3 of 2025 alone, right? Canada, that 19,000 removals, right? So I mean, it goes on and on. So every country deports people. Okay, that's it's not unusual. All right, and now we get into the question of, because again, I get curious about this stuff. These are the kind of topics I find fascinating, and I want to dig into them. So I'm like, how many international visitors to these countries, right? So 72.4 million in 2024. European Union is 700. A lot of people visited the European Union. 40 to 41 million people in Canada, 19.9 million 2024 in Canada. Right. So how many internationals was used by plane? So I get into this, like, because I assume like most of the people coming here from Europe and all that stuff, they're going to be coming by plane and all of that sort of thing. So it didn't matter. I was like, doesn't matter. There's 17.4 million total, but how many arrived by plane got deported? Well, you can get the number by plane, about 48 million, okay, arrived by plane, but you really can't get the deportation because they don't by arrival mechanism, if you will, because they don't track that. Um, so you really can't do that. So it's like, you can't do that. But at the worst case scenario, right? Worst case scenario, yeah, okay, we'll get into the next one in a minute. But in the worst case scenario, right, you got 48.3 million, you got 678,000 total deportations, right? It's about 1.4%. Okay, now the actual number for that is way smaller. Okay, it's probably along the lines of somewhere between 0.1% and 0.5%. That's 0.5%, 0.1%, which is kind of similar to Canada, right? You got 19 million people and 19,000 departure, people deported. It's about 0.1%. So if the fear is that you're going to get, and there's a lot of there's a lot of fear throughout the commentary of this, is that fear of coming to the U.S. and getting deported and having their insulin stolen and all these kind of things that these evil, the evil U.S. people are going to do to these people coming over. Like they're going to steal their insulin and kill them, right? I mean, it's literally that's some of the commentary that's literally in this thread, right? And they're worried about the U.S. people stealing their insulin so that they die. That is a real, actual expressed comment in this thread. Okay, it the odds of that, right, are probably about the same wherever you go. Okay, it's about, if you go through the numbers, right, it's somewhere in the like 0.1% to 0.5% of people get deported, right, that come and visit a country. Just how it is. So it happens everywhere. Now, the interesting, so then I get into like questions like, well, how many people were deported under Obama? Obama was known as the deporter in chief, right? And his administration, even to this day, has deported more people than any other administration in modern history. Okay, about 3.1 million people were deported under Obama. Now, I don't remember anybody saying that Obama was a fascist or that they weren't going to travel to the United States because President Obama was deporting a bunch of people, right? President Obama was deporting over 400,000 people a year, right? At fiscal year 2012 and 2013, right? Which these numbers aren't that different than Trump's numbers. Okay. Yes, Trump's numbers in the last 2 years have been a little higher. But in 2024, that was Biden, right? President Trump wasn't in power yet. So there were 600,000 people getting deported under Biden in 2024, right? So Biden left office in January 2025. So numbers under Trump, 670,000, not that different than Biden's last year in office and not that terribly different than Obama. So I don't quite get the whole we're going to steal your insulin and kill you kind of argument. That seems a little bit like kind of made up and fictitious to me, I guess. I don't think that's what we're going to be doing to anyone that comes to the US from, for the MVP summit. I don't think we're going to be stealing your insulin and killing you. That's probably not going to happen. And then I did ask the question of, did ICE agents cover their faces prior to 2024? And really, that really came about in 2025 is when that came about, which I don't personally like that, the whole face covering thing and hiding your identity and stuff, but I do understand it. Now, a little bit about me. I'm the son of a state trooper. My dad was a state trooper for Ohio for like 30 years, okay? Did I get bullied at school because my dad was a state trooper? Yes, I did. Your dad arrested my dad for drunk driving and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to beat your ass. Great. What a great way to start off my day at school. Now, this happened. All right. This happened more than once. All right. So do I get it in terms of like trying to protect your family. Like if it comes out that your dad is an ICE agent and somebody else is a, knows an illegal, immigrant or something like that got deported and stuff, there could be violence against, their family and things like that. Absolutely, I get it. I lived it as the son of a state patrolman. Okay. People, like some people get upset, like about, and take it out on the friends and family of law enforcement officers. Okay. So I totally understand hiding the identity things. Do I like it? No, I think it's creepy. And I think it's kind of anti-American. I'm not going to lie. But what am I going to do about it? Pass a law to say they can't do it. There you go. That's how you're going to fix that. Not going to fix it by going out and protesting. So anyway, so now let's get into this. So here we go. How many people? So she is from Germany, right? Luis is from Germany. So I was like, well, how many people were deported from Germany in 2025 and 2024? Turns out that 22,787 people were deported, 14% increase over 2024. Other figures report about 23,000 removals in 2025. So, Luis, I got to ask the question here. Is Germany also a system where state power over bodies is normalized, expanded, and defended, often with devastating consequences for people who don't have the luxury of just flying home? Turns out, sounds like they are. Luis, sounds like Germany's just like the US in that regard. That Germany deports people. There you go. All right, so then we get into this next paragraph here, which I think is a red herring more than anything else. But so she doesn't want to come to the U.S. because she doesn't want to support the country because apparently the entire country is evil, right? Because Trump is president, the entire country, I'm evil, my neighbors are evil, my family is evil, right? Everyone's evil in the U.S. So she doesn't want to support all those evil people in the U.S. that have Trump regrettably as our leader, right? And then she's like, that allowed Epstein to operate for years in plain sight. And right, okay, let's cover the Epstein thing first. Epstein is not a U.S. only problem. Okay, Epstein was a global problem. All right, so prominent individuals mentioned the Epstein files: Indian businessman, Swedish physician, Israeli, Canadian, Prime Minister of Spain. Oh, look, Luis, a German scientist and AI researcher. Even after Epstein got convicted, he still took funding from Epstein, right? This is your countrymen, not just US, okay? Got Steve Bannon in here, former Prime Minister of Israel, from Russia, Emirati, right? Swiss born. Richard Branson, English, UK, right? Not to mention Prince Andrew, for the love of God, right? Italian businessman. So Epstein was not just a U.S. problem. Epstein was like a kind of a global problem here. Um, so yeah, Slovakia, New York. Let's see, Sweden. So somebody from Sweden, House of Lords, UK. So again, I don't think it's fair to like say that Epstein was an only a U.S. thing. Like Epstein was a whole global thing here. I don't see how that supports your argument at all. And it's the same as with like Musk. It just seems like she's just venting about just people she doesn't like. Because Musk, not everybody in the U.S. likes Musk, right? And liking Musk or not liking Musk is not it's not a US only thing, right? I'm sure there's people in South Africa that have, opinions as well as in France and UK and Russia and everywhere else in the damn country or planet, right? So anyway, so that's I don't know. There's all this conversation in threads and fear. There's a lot of fear, and then there's things like this. Here's the next one. Never had a chance to do the MVP summit, COVID and costs, spending all that cash to line the pockets of one of the world's richest firms had ethical problems of its own. But it's like, okay, but you're an MVP and you're also lining the pockets of one of the world's richest firms by basically delivering free marketing for them, okay, and their products, right? Um, which to me just sounds bizarre, right? I mean, they like, oh no, like Microsoft is this whole evil company because it's awful, right? But we're going to support it anyway by by providing free marketing for them, but we won't support it by going like traveling to the US. That's a whole other level of craziness, right? I mean, There's no logic to any of these arguments at all. Like you're complaining about the world's richest firm, and they won't even pay your hotel room and stuff, and it felt wrong, and I could afford it, and blah blah blah. But you're not concerned about the fact that you're providing the company free marketing by being an MVP, right? You're not concerned about that, but you're concerned about them not paying your hotel costs because they're the richest firm. I mean, a lot of this commentary in here is a lot about it's a very much anti-technology. Like doesn't like Musk, right? I mean, the guy founded Tesla, which is like save the planet kind of electric cars, which that's a pretty good cool thing, right? And SpaceX, right? In terms of getting to Mars and everything else, whether you believe in that or not, he's doing it for, humanity and that sort of thing. So I mean, there's one could point out some good intentions or good work that Musk has done, and that's true for any technology firm, really. But it very much seems to get an anti-tech feeling, which is surprising coming out of tech people. Like these people rely on technology for their livings, but they hate it, right? And they think it's evil. So anyway, but I don't know, man. It's a fascinating turn of events for the MVP summit, I think. Um, but I mean, I'm just an evil American, right? So what the hell do I know? So anyway, that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.